Hi, welcome to Qlikview part 2. So in this session we are going to discuss about QVD. So it's a Qlikview data file format, and then we'll see where QVD is a must, and then how to export data into other formats other than QVD, and then some of the QVD related functions. Okay. So QVD is a Qlikview data format in which Qlikview will load the data into its Qlikview engine, and then it will compress and it will store the information into QVD in an I can say compressed format or in an encoded form, coded format. Okay, so in technical terms, it will store symbol table inside the QVD, so that while reading the data, it will fetch 10 times faster than fetching data from other sources. So it's always good to create a QVD if you have any legacy data bases or else any legacy file systems, because it's I can say faster to fetch data from QVD and performing transformations, and as well as you'll have a backup copy of it. And if you have an incremental load concept, in that case QVD is a must. Okay, incremental load is nothing but fetching only newly added data and adding it to the existing data set. So in that case QVD is very useful. It is must to have QVD while implementing incremental load, because if you fetch data from legacy system, it is very bit slow. But if you read data from QVD, means if you read historical data from QVD, it will be very faster. Okay, so QVD must while implementing the incremental load. Okay, right, so let's switch to Qlikview desktop. So this is the table which I have loaded from an Excel sheet. Okay, now I want to store this into QVD. So for that you have to write command, instruction store. So what you want to store? This table 1 into what? So you have to give a destination file name, okay, and the path where you want to store. If you won't give any path, it will store the QVD where your QVW is existing. Okay, so in this case I want to change the name, table name. Okay, so the table name would be my first QVD, and you have to specify the extension QVD, and the extension should be specified inside code as well. Okay, so if you want to specify the path, complete path, you can give before this file. Okay, now let's reload it. Okay, now see that file. So this is the QVD file. Okay, so let's check the properties of this one. So security, it's all there, details, who has generated and when it is being generated, everything is there. Okay, let's open this one. So if you open this file, you can see the XML header of this one. So what is the encoding? UTF-8 means if is there any customized or else local language that are being there in the data, so it will read perfectly because it is UTF-8. So remember, UTF-8 and 16 are required when you are working with the local data sets. Okay, so and the QVD build number you find, and you can see the document which is being created, this particular QVD here, right? And you can see where it is being, when it is being created, and you can find the table name. Okay, this is the table 1. So this the source table name, and then fields. Okay, so what are the fields are there, right? And then followed by the symbol table. Okay, so this is the ending tag of the header. So till this tag, it's QVD header. So all the metadata is stored in this QVD table header, and this is the actual data set. Okay, so all those 1000 lines of data is stored inside this. So the size of this file is 91, and this one is also 91 because it is not having any redundant records. It has all unique records, so the size is same. So in general cases you can find up to 60%. Ideally people would say 90%, but if you have an average scenario of number of records, in that case you can find around 60% of compressed size in there. Assume you have 10 MB of data, your file would be around 4 MB or 3 MB. Okay, right. So this is how we can create a QVD, right? So QVD must scenario is nothing but you have to have a QVD for implementing incremental load. So you can also use the flat files or as legacy file systems for storing data in there, but reading data from there and doing incremental load doesn't make sense because it will take the same time. So we lose the performance in that case. Okay, so how to and next topic is how to export data into CSV file. So here we are exporting data into a QVD file using the store statement. Okay, the same way can be used to export data into a text file or as a CSV file. Okay, let's take CSV, and here you have to specify the txt. Okay, now the same way, just reload it. Okay, now if you go to the folder wherever your application is being saved, then you can find the CSV here. Okay, this is a CSV just being created. So this is how you can export data into um, different formats of files, and it's better to store the information always in QVD format. Okay, it can also hold large amount of data. There is no limitation as such so far that Qlikview has mentioned. Okay, and let's switch to next topic. It is the QVD related functions. So QVD file has some meta information in it under QVD table header. So this is the meta information. Okay, so if you specify this QVD file name in your Qlikview application, then it can do some kind of operations to fetch data or metadata from the a QVD file. So let's create a variable let. So there are two types of variables, set and let. We'll discuss further in detail about these variables in the upcoming sessions. Okay, in this case we QVD QVD time. So I want to know when this QVD is being created. Okay, so just type in QVD create time and then pass the file name. Okay, so it must be in quotes, I guess. Okay, and every statement should end with semicolon. Let's reload it. So no errors. So let's create text object. Go to new sheet objects and then click on text objects. So there type the variable name vqvd time, right? Just click on this and apply. So you must be getting this time. So just compare this with the QVD header. So it's 20 17 8 7. Okay, 13 45 and 17. So yes, perfectly fetched. Okay, this is how you can get the QVD creation time. So you can also fetch other details from the header. So those are let vqvd number of records. So in that case you have to have QVD, so number of records. Okay, right. So just hold control and create a copy of it, change the variable name. So how many records were there? 1000 records were there in that particular table. And let's see how many fields were there. So let QVD number of fields. QVD number of fields. Let's reload it and create a copy of it. So we're going to see how many fields were there. 8 fields were there. So this is how we can fetch QVD information, or else the metadata which is saved in Qlikview data file header through these functions. Okay, this QVD creation time is very much useful whenever you are working with incremental load, and number of records also very important, and this is also useful, and as usual number of fields as well when you're working with multiple tables. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching Qlikview. Please do subscribe.